30s.
All right, so tonight, Destination America's destination is Western New York as the show Paranormal Lockdown visits the Hinsdale House outside of Buffalo. It's the third part of a six-part series that teams Nick Groff from the show Ghost Adventures with Katrina Weidman of the show Paranormal State. I was kind of curious, a little skeptical about what they do and why, and I talked with them about what they found.
Whoa. When someone asks, hey, what do you do for a living? How do you guys describe your job?
Depending on who I'm talking to, sometimes I lie.
You have like an alter ego made up just in case?
I do.
I just say we go into the most haunted locations that we can possibly confine ourselves to, and we live there for 72 hours straight. That's what I tell people, and they just look at me like cross-eyed and go, huh? So it's interesting. It's interesting what we're allowed to do and go into these amazing locations that some people just can't even get into. And kind of the experience that we go through is a rush for us sometimes. It's a journey.
All right, so that's the basis of this six-part series of Paranormal Lockdown. You guys do. You go in and you stay for 72 hours in these locations. And it's kind of cool because there's two in New York, one kind of closer to us outside of Buffalo. Tell us about that site. What attracted you to it? And I know you can't tell us exactly what happened when you were there, but maybe give us a little teaser.
Sure, it's called the Hinsdale House, and it's a house that's been, known to be haunted for decades. A very good friend of ours, Lorraine Warren, who's very well known in the paranormal community and the horror community. Amityville Horror is based off of her work, Haunting in Connecticut, things like that. She actually investigated that place back in the 70s, and there was also a documented exorcism on the house in the 70s that I think it was NYU went and documented it. So it's, known to be haunted. Many families have lived there that have had these experiences. So we went there to see what would happen to us. And it was just a very dark place that actually followed us home after we left.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's alarming. We digress through the interview. Obviously, there is interest, and this is going to make for good TV, but there has to be a bigger reason. Why do you guys do this? I mean, it can't just be just for the cameras. There must be, the root of what you do. Why do you do this?
I mean, we have a passion for it. We really do. I mean, the ultimate question is what happens when you die? What else is there just beyond that? Is there something in our universe that we fully don't understand yet? So we're trying to search for something that's just groundbreaking, to discover something new, and to document it. We're not out to prove or disprove that ghosts exist or these paranormal claims are happening. We're out to just discover something new that we can say, okay, that's what that is. That's what it's made up of, and understand it a little bit better as human beings.
So does this mean that you would work with, oftentimes you hear stories of sweeter interactions with people who might be on the other side. Do you have the positive experience as well as going to these places that have been sort of described as awful?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, our work is sometimes misunderstood that, it's all dark, it's all negative, and that's not true. We actually go to one location called Franklin Castle that was honestly a really nice place. It was this beautiful old mansion, and what we believe we captured on film was some sort of anomaly, but the stories there, they weren't bad. There was nothing like horrible that happened there that we could find in our research. It was just, the story of a young girl who passed away there that might still be hanging out. And we've talked to eyewitnesses that have seen her, and, they said she was very friendly. So it's not always the negative, dark stuff that you hear about.
Ah, well.
Sometimes the scary part is we don't fully understand. It's the unknown that scares us. And I think that's kind of what frightens people in general, but when we're confining ourselves for 72 hours, we get startled and we jump, and you feel the presence and that kind of overwhelming sensation. But I think that's what we're doing, is we're putting ourselves into the most vulnerable state to see and go through those experiences to try to document stuff like that.
All right, well, I'm curious to see what you find. Paranormal Lockdown. Guys, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Huh. And if interested, it airs tonight at 10 on Destination America.
All right, coming up, the weekend buzz. Hear about some events happening around Rochester this Easter weekend.